And you know, it's the same day I got on the same clothes as another video that you probably seen. So I'm trying to put these videos out in one, it's while I can. But this is gonna be a short video, should be. This is gonna be about the 12-year-old and the 14-year-old that decided to shoot up the police. I just felt it in my soul I needed to come and say something about that, because that case that's a true WTF moment, 100%. First off, that these kids are still alive. Thank the gods. Because the cops were in all of their rights to take them from this earth. The little girl came out, she was going to shoot the sergeant. That was her plan. She yelling out stuff about Grand Theft Auto. Looky here, little girl. Now you done made the poor little folks over at whoever makes the video game Grand Theft Auto, they shivering in their boots. They probably had a new game coming out this year. It ain't now because of you. My child played Grand Theft Auto, but you know what? When you let the children play these games, you have a conversation with them first. You make sure you see where the mental status is of your kids. And clearly, her parents did not. Especially that daddy, who, I'm so sorry, sir, but your child is a thug. You want to come and say she's not, she is. Maybe she wasn't when she first stole the dog, but when she set shit on fire and then decided to escape from the group home and go on over to somebody else's house, break in, and then use their weapons to have a gun fight with the police, she was full-fledged thug. She a whole thug. Both of them heathens. I believe in my heart that the boy, because men don't come for me in the comments, but the 12-year-old boy, his little mind isn't as mature as hers. I personally think that she manipulated him into going on this little venture. If I'm wrong, I will say I'm wrong, but that's how I feel it went down. I feel that is what happened, and that his hormones. This is a pretty girl. I'm gonna do whatever. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about the whole situation. But her, now I don't really know. There's not much more to say about him. He's going to be tried as a juvenile, and that's it. That's all. Her, on the other hand, is up in the air. I think she should be tried as an adult. She was making those adult decisions, doing adult shit, and she decided she wanted to have a gun battle with the police. You live, little girl, so be happy that your life is still with you. And she got shot. She's fine. I just really hate that everybody is like, oh, she was so young, this young girl, she can be saved. Don't put her in jail because then she'll be corrupt. I think there's no saving. I personally believe that after a certain age, you're going to need more than counseling to fix the thinking that goes on in that head. You know how they don't like to label children? I can tell you she has psycho tendencies. If we ain't gonna say she's a psychopath, we can say she got the tendencies. I'm sorry, but my kid ain't waking up thinking I'm gonna go steal somebody's dog. My kid ain't waking up thinking about setting some stuff on fire. My kid damn sure ain't thinking about breaking into somebody's house and having a gunfight with the police. This is not what my kid is thinking about. I raised my kid. She did get spankings. She got whoopings, whatever you want to call it. Some people think that that's abuse and that they don't want their kid to fear them. My kid doesn't fear me. She fears going to jail. She fears getting taken in, she fears police taking her in for doing whatever it is she knew she had no damn business doing. She doesn't fear me as an individual. Now, is she a little apprehensive about telling me something. Yeah, if it's a criminal activity, you damn right she gonna be afraid. But am I gonna be the first person she called if she got locked up? Yeah. So that's not true fear, because if it's true 100% fear, you calling somebody else. You looking for somebody else to call. You're not gonna call. My child is gonna call me. So I don't feel it was abuse. I got spankings, I got whoopings, I turned out just fine. I don't feel it's abuse. There's a lot of people that do. That's fine. There's people who think that, time out and stand in the corner works. You need to read the room, see what you're working with. My child is laughing at you telling her to stand in the corner. So she's a kid that here's the line. She got 10 toes on the line. Like and I was me. I had 10 toes on the line too. So I learned by making my own mistakes, and I learned let me see how far I can go. Let me see what I can get away with. Not all kids have this mentality. Some of them don't even, here's the line, they standing way back here. They're like, I'm not fooling with that line. Everybody is different. Like, I have a really good friend. She does time out, and it's actually funny. She used to put her kid in the corner and make him hold books like this. That little boy has never as so much as talked back. So my child, she did. And yes, she got whooping. So yeah, but that still's not finna work for her. Do you see what I mean? So you got to see what you can do, when you can do it, and how you can do it. I am a big advocate for kids and child abuse and all of that type of stuff. And I hate it. And this isn't child abuse. I'm not beating my kid because of whatever. And she's not even getting whoopings for everything. She's getting whoopings for things that I know could potentially be life-threatening for her, I, or somebody else. That's when it's serious. Do you see what I mean? So it's like, you playing with matches, you explain it, you break it down, why you don't play with matches, why you don't do this. Then they doing it again and they set something on fire. I'm gonna set your ass on fire, is what I'm getting ready to do. I'm gonna get my belt and I'm gonna set your butt on fire. And then you're gonna be on punishment. This is what we're doing. Now you can rebel, you can be mad, but at the same time, I'm showing a whole lot of love. I'm giving hugs and I'm explaining why you're in trouble. I'm explaining why what you did is not okay. And at the same time, I'm feeding her. I'm giving her food. I'm giving her clothing. I'm laughing with her. I'm playing with her. I'm joking with her. She can't do nothing else outside this house, but because she knows she's in trouble. But at the same time, she knows I still love her. That's how you discipline a child. Some people have some other ways to discipline their children. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm only saying it's wrong is when you draw blood. There's no way your child should be covered in bruises. You throwing random objects at their person. You're cutting them. That's child abuse. So I need people to know the difference between the two. And I know that this little girl needed a couple of spankings in her life, or she needed somebody with some stern stand in the corner punishments or whatever it is you want to do to see if it's going to work. That's what she needed. She didn't get. Now her ass is out of control. And I don't think she's remorseful for anything she's done. At this point, she needs to be tried as an adult. A lot of people are saying, well, she goes into the system, she'll be worse. She'll come out worse than she went in. If she doesn't go in the system and she goes into one of these group homes in California, and I'm only speaking California. I don't know about in Florida or anywhere else because this happened in Florida. But some of the group homes have children in them that actually committed no crime. They are there because their parents did, and they have no place to put them. There's no foster families available for them. And the majority of it is for teens over 15. Because whatever reason, foster families all want babies and stuff like that. And pretty good reason is because you cannot retrain 14, 15, 16-year-old. They are done. They are who they are going to be. And it takes a lot. It takes a whole freaking village. It takes more than one village. And for some kids. So a lot of foster families don't want to do it. My mother was a foster parent. She had 2 over 14-year-olds. That was it. And both of them almost got my mom and my dad locked up. Thank the gods my dad was in the hospital when both of the incidents that both of these kids blamed them for doing and said that my dad did, but he had an open heart surgery at the time you said he abused you. How's this possible? How is this even possible? But they will take it to their grave. You probably ask them today, they probably still tell you that lie, because that's who these kids are. So very difficult to start training and deprogramming a kid with the mindset that they've already got, and for whatever reason, however their upbringing, whatever reason they got this way, they're that way. It takes a lot, and it's not impossible, but it takes a lot. So you want to put them in with the kids who they're good kids. Their parents are trifling, say their parents are on drugs, or they sell drugs, or did whatever, and they got locked up and they didn't have nowhere to put this kid. They're in this group home with these kids who are teetering on need to be in jail, need to be in juvenile hall, but they ended up in this group home. They're going to corrupt that kid. It never works the other way around. Everybody always says, well, they'll learn and they'll start, they'll be good like the ones that are there. They can learn from them. No, it never happens that way. Either they bully that person's who had self-esteem no longer does, or this kid now wants to be like this kid and doesn't have it in their heart and soul, but does it just because they want to fit in. And now you got two criminals. So no, I'm not for putting these bad apples in with unformed apples. Like the apple that ain't ready yet, ain't ready to be picked, doesn't need to be with that rotten apple. Just sorry, it just doesn't happen. That shouldn't be. That's my thought. Please, I'd like to hear yours. I'd like to know what you guys think about this whole situation, where, if you don't know about it, it happened in Florida. It was a 12-year-old little boy and a 14-year-old girl. They were in a little group home setting. They ran away from there. Now, mind you, they wasn't in there for being good. So they already had shady past. Her, I do know, she first was, I think she stole a dog or something like that, and then the second time she set some stuff on fire, and then she's there. I'm not for sure what the little boy did to get there, but he's there. They decide together they're escaping. They escape. They break into this house. Unfortunately for everybody involved, the homeowner owned an AK-47, a shotgun, I think a handgun, and all the ammunition you can desire. What these kids do, this is what we're going to do. I believe the little boy had the handgun. The girl had the AK. I'm not for sure if she shot the shotgun, but I know she had the AK slung over her like she big gangster. So she can big gangster it in big people jail is what she can do. So that's just how I feel. I mean, I'm not saying put the 15-year-old in there, but put her where she's supposed to be, which is she wouldn't be able to go to a group home. She would have to go into like juvenile facility with all the bad kids, now good kids in there, or there tend to be sometimes, ones that just petty theft or something, and those be the ones that get corrupted by these who are really, really heinous. But put her in there, and then when she gets 18, put her ass in regular grown folk jail, because this is what she deserves. She shot at those police officers. She's part of the reason why, cops are always talking about they're scared, or they fear because they don't know what's going to happen. I get that, honestly, truly, because I have been in the company of a few 12, 13, 14-year-olds, some of which I wouldn't even remotely begin to be afraid of. Some I am deathly afraid of, because these are like gang members, or they don't care about taking your life. I've done a lot of volunteer at juvenile halls and everything, and some of these kids, they scare me to death. So I get it when the police say that about somebody that they were interacting with. And I have to commend one of the officers. I heard his video cam, or I don't know who he was talking to or what happened, but he was so fearful, but he was so compassionate. He was just like, he did not want this to go down this way. He wanted everybody to go home, everybody to be alive and healthy. You can just tell he was so sincere. You had a lot of people want to turn this into a race. My channel is not for that. I am a black woman. Both my parents are black. I've been a subject to racism for the simple fact of I'm not black enough for black people. I'm not white enough for white people. The brown folks, they like, we'll take you maybe today. So I have my own little struggle, so I'm not getting ready to turn this into that. Right now, I'm focusing on the fact that it was a 14-year-old girl who went in this house with these guns and having a shootout with the cops. 12-year-old boy following her, started off doing the same thing. He surrenders himself. The point is that it's not okay. And they lived through this. There's many who would not have, regardless of what their color is. They would not have lived through this. Many, they are very, very lucky. Very, very lucky. And it's a lot of people saying, well, that's how the police should be. I'm glad you think that's how the police should be, because I actually agree 100%. What they did by de-escalating the situation was wonderful. Could have had some hotheads who went in there just a guns a-blazing, and then we have two kids dead on the ground. And we'd be talking about police reform now, because it's a different dynamic. But at the same time, it's not those cops' fault that those kids is bad. It's their parents' fault that they bad. It's the cops' fault that they had to intervene in this manner. Who thinks that their 14 or 12-year-old is going to have a shootout with the police? I'm like so truly dumbfounded by this whole entire situation. But I do know that the girl is okay. The boy is okay. I don't know about mentally, but physically. And the prosecutor is now trying to figure out if he's going to try her as an adult. So I will be coming back to you with that information, and hopefully it works out in the best interest of all parties. But at the end of the day, I am for her being tried as an adult, because there's been many, many children tried as an adult for less than. There's been many, many children who committed worse crimes who were not, and they ended up reoffending horribly bad. Many people lost their lives. So with that being said, we don't need another school shooting. We don't need any of that. So all of you people who think about the gun violence in schools, think about all the babies that have lost their lives to gun violence. Do you want her in your neighborhood thinking she may decide to shoot up the school? I need you to think the same way you think when it's a gang member or somebody who doesn't look like a cute little girl but looks menacing, thuggish, as everybody says. Same mentality. I need you to have the same energy, because she is a thug, regardless of what her father thinks. She is a thug. So with that being said, I want to thank you all for being here and watching me. Please leave your comments below. I'd like to know what you think. You may have a really good argument for why she needs to be tried as a juvenile. You may have a really good opinion on the whole entire thing. I'd like to hear about it, because that's what we do here at Beyond Evil. We talk about the evil people and what they did and what we think they could do differently, what we think should be their fate, and just to open discussion. Once again, I respectfully agree to disagree when we don't agree, and I would like for you to do the same. So once again, thank you. Please remember to hit the subscribe and the notifications, because the algorithm is all screwed up, because your girl, she don't make too many videos, and I get pushed all the way down to the bottom, and sometimes I come back up struggling and then I go back down. So I'm really trying, you guys, but thank you for hanging in there with me. And I want to make sure I remind you, if you feel like you want to self-harm, or you know somebody who does, or you just need somebody to talk to, I'm a volunteer at the Crisis Hotline. I always leave the number below. I'm going to be leaving the number below. I left it in one of my other videos, and I'm going to be leaving it from here on out. So you can go to my video, check for the number. It's one where you can text and one where you can call. So you have many different options just to talk to somebody, because we all need to talk to somebody. And sometimes you never want to do it face to face. You don't want to do it verbally, but you know that there's somebody there who believes that you are valuable and you deserve to be on this earth living your best life. So with that being said, see you next time. Deuces.